A lot of these questions really lead to what we have also gotten several times. What if this TA does not ratify? And Joe Burns, could you walk us through that?
Yes, I'm going to answer this based on my experience of years of negotiating in the airline industry. And if the agreement was not to ratify, then we would have a process to determine the reasons why, or the main reasons why we believe that the TA did not ratify. And, you know, that's somewhat difficult because obviously every person has their own reasons for voting. We would approach the National Mediation Board to attempt to have a discussion about setting up dates. We are under mediation, so it's important to remember that the National Mediation Board controls the timing and location of negotiations per the Railway Labor Act. What that means concretely here is that the National Mediation Board would determine when we got back to the table, and they would determine the timeline of the negotiations. From other negotiations where tentative agreements have failed to ratify, our experience is that the National Mediation Board will really want to know that we have a limited number of issues that we are attempting to renegotiate. They really do not want, ongoing negotiations where we think we're going to be redoing the entire contract. So you get to go in with a handful of issues. In some of the previous negotiations, we've had a very, very short period of time, maybe 48 hours, a couple different times to negotiate another tentative agreement. The other factor that you have to face is that the company has the amount that they were willing to spend in this tentative agreement, and we were able to push that number way higher than they wanted to, even at the very final hours of negotiations, to get that up to a $380 million number. Typically, the companies in the face of a failed TA are not necessarily willing to spend more money, or not likely to spend more money. So what you end up doing is you end up identifying flight attendant priorities, maybe moving the money around, changing it somewhat. But the numbers that we talked about earlier of the $15,000, $16,000 per flight attendant, that doesn't really change. It's just typically that's just a question of how it gets distributed. So really, just to conclude this answer. I think the most likely scenario would be it would take a number of months to get to initial session with the company again, and we don't know exactly when we would get another TA, but based on experience, it could be up to a year. And certainly if you look at the mechanics negotiations, I think that kind of backs that analysis up.